the Kingdom of Kelvedon, there's a young boy named Fonzie who lives on the shores of Monarch Lake with his father Leo and his mother Nika. His father runs the marina on Monarch Lake, and his mother does everything in her power to keep her son in school. Today, Fonzie's parents are at odds. His father wants him to prepare for the anticipated arrival of the governor of Avalon, while his mother wants him to attend the school's field trip to King Mordecai's palace. The king holds a gathering every spring to select children who will be trained by the best in the kingdom to one day sit on the king's council and help govern the kingdom. Whoever is selected, their family's tax exempt, invited to the best banquets in the land, and most importantly, gains bragging rights among friends and family. The morning fog lay thick at the feet of the docks. Fonz breathed in the sweet misty air, tainted with the residue of fish along the dock. Mornings were the young boy's favorite time of day, the only time he could give his number one joy in life his undivided attention. Instinct took over as he threw his rod and metal tackle box into his father's skiff and steered it out of the marina into freedom. The thick fog did not faze the boy who grew up on Monarch Lake. He could take you to his favorite spot blindfolded. A cove on the left side of the lake with some overhanging trees was the perfect spot for Fonz to wet a line. He took a gulp of his soda as he waited with anticipation. A few early morning hovercrafts hummed as they sailed over. A swirl in the water, and his bobber was gone. "Fish on!" Fonz yelled out, to no one in particular. After a few moments of adrenaline and pure bliss, Fonz held up a largemouth bass for himself. His satisfaction only lasted a moment. The innocence of the morning was cut off with a chime on the console, a message from his father telling him to come home. Today was important. Today was the day he might change his family history forever. By now the fog had lifted, and Fonz could see his father waiting for him at the docks. Fonz thinks his father is too harsh. Hours work to do and hardly any play. There was a stoic look on his father's face. "Catch anything?" he asked. Fonz smiles and held up a stringer with a largemouth bass shining in the early morning sun. "That boy. Get those cleaned up fast, we got work to do." The marina was always busy, and it was Fonz's job to check the marina's log for which of the boats needed to be ready for their owners to take out today. Fonz loved this life, and being on the water driving boats of all shapes and sizes was about as good of a job as a boy his age could ask for. It was a far cry from the stuffy school that suffocated his imagination over the long hours of mind-numbing information. He ran to the back of the marina's office, pulled a hard drive from under the desk, and plopped it onto the mounted black box on the wooden counter. A list of names appeared on the screen attached to the black box. Fonz grinned. At the top of the list was Mr. Cayford. Mr. Cayford was one of the wealthiest people in Monarch City, and his boat was one of the biggest. Fonz grabbed the correct key off the wall and ran down the rows of docks to where the bigger boats lay silent. A sleek wooden yacht with shiny wood floors and a cabin at the center rested, waiting for Fonz. Even though the large piece of transportation was daunting, it was no match for the boy's skill, who was practically born on these docks. When Fonz was bringing around the third boat to the front dock for its owner, he noticed his mother staring at him from the office doorway. As bullheaded as Fonz's father was to keep him working, his mother was equally determined to keep her boy in school. Today of all days was a field trip to King Mordecai's palace, where his mother prayed that her son might be chosen to continue his education for a future in Kelvedon government. In the majestic Kingdom of Kelvedon, King Mordecai reigned from his grand palace atop the city of Monarch. Each year when the boys and girls of the kingdom turned 14, they were granted a special opportunity to visit the palace. There they would learn about the king's council and discover how they might be chosen to study under the finest teachers in the land. If they passed an entry exam on field trip day and rigorous background checks, they were placed into a group to be one of the few chosen to continue training for the council. From that day forward, those accepted gave every moment of their life to serve King Mordecai's council. Today, Fonz's school had a field trip to learn the possibilities of a few lucky ones, take an entry exam, and taste the dream of so many of these boys and girls' parents. Fonz would have tried to bypass the landmine that was his two parents if there was another way into the office. He knew it was going to be a tug-of-war between Dad wanting work to get done and Mom wanting him to get ready for school. He only has a few more boats and then he can get to school, Leo argued with Nika as Fonz approached. "Not today, he doesn't. He's not going to be late for King Mordecai." "Mom, we're not even going to see him," Fonz offered his 2 cents as he squeezed by the two of them. "But you're going to be seen by those that represent him, and you need to show them your very best." "I gotta get the boy ready for the trip to the market," Leo offered, his last attempt to keeping his son busy with work. After today, Nika finalized the argument. "Fonzie, let's go. Besides, breakfast is ready." Something about fishing does make a boy hungry, and Fonz was ready to relent his duties at the marina for his mom's cooking. Over a healthy amount of bacon and eggs, Fonz tried to think of some way to get out of the field trip that meant way more to his mother than to him. "Mom, I think we need to look at the bigger picture here. We need to make sure our ransom is a priority, and we will get to Avalon when the governor comes. If we get on that ship when he comes, this field trip means nothing. We can't just wish away today," Nika argued. "We don't know when the governor is coming, and we don't know if our ransom will even work. What will work is showing Kelvedon that you are ready for the future." Fonz just had one problem with that. You wasn't ready for the future. Not that future. A life of overbearing schoolrooms that led to a life at the king's palace where you helped dictate the future of Kelvedon sounded like a life not worth striving for, but he had little say in the matter. For as long as he could remember, his mother would talk of this day. The towering, slender skyscrapers always felt unnatural to the boy who loved the open water. He and his mother walked down the sidewalk to the courtyard at the center of Monarch City. Tourists from around the kingdom and a few food vendors stood at street corners and walkways. Past the courtyard, there were the other boys and girls his age who were making their way to fulfill their parents' dreams as well. At least that's how Fonz saw it. Inside the base of the tallest building in the kingdom, there was a golden sculpture, 15 feet high, of the King of Kelvedon. Security and employees busied themselves with last-minute preparations for the flood of students. After an endless line of security checks, they found themselves guided by teachers and security to a large auditorium for the commencement of the day's events. The day's events would be described by most as historic, life-changing, and full of endless possibilities. But for Fonz, he found it boring. Faculty members from different branches of government gave their speeches using holograms and AI visuals to teach the students about the opportunities awarded to those special enough to get elected. Food, transportation, architecture, financing, and Fonz's personal favorite, off-Earth relations. In recent years, they have been more and more in touch with moonwalkers, a colony of workers on the moon who made it there before the destruction of Earth 100 years ago. Fonz paid close attention to what the professor of space travel had to say. If his family's ransom would not suffice to take him away from Earth, maybe he could learn to go there himself. The day ended with a test taken by all students. It wasn't the official one that decides your fate, but it was the first step to seeing if you would even be in the race. Fonz thought about flunking on purpose, but he knew his mother would kill him. His only hope was to test well enough to get into off-Earth relations. After a long day, his mother was waiting for him outside the auditorium with a big smile. "So, how did it go?" Nika asked. "It was good, Mom. I'm gonna try to get into off-Earth relations program," Fonz offered, knowing his mother would like that. Nika smiled as she shakes her head. Fonz smiled to himself as he walked down the sidewalk home. "Yeah, I'll be the best," Fonz thought to himself, "if it means getting to Avalon." Fonz found his father on the back porch looking over a few papers and an analog tablet of blueprints. The blueprints detailed the family secret that he and his father hoped would get them to Avalon. Fonz pulled himself up on the railing with a moonlit backdrop behind him. Leo took one last puff from his pipe. "You ready, boy, for this?" "I'm ready," Fonz stated with a confident excitement. "Keep your eyes and ears open. That's the main thing," Leo explained. "You're there to talk to the market about selling boats as far as anyone is concerned. You hear me?" "Yes, sir," Fonz replied. The two of them have been plotting a way to secure their ransom for Avalon all winter. Any competition that was close, Leo wanted Fonz to sniff it out. If someone else had the same idea, they would make theirs better, and if someone else had a ransom close, they would buy them out. Fonz knew the fate of his family was at stake. They needed this ransom to be worthy. His job was to get to the market and spy out the other ransoms of Earth.